He's indeed waiting for all of you to take lots of screenshots on him. So remember to hashtag Safari Live when you take those beautiful screenshots. We'd love to see them. It's just a pity there's so much vegetation surrounding this termite mound. But I don't think this is going to be a permanent stop. I think he's going to get on the move again. So we'll just patiently sit and wait for him until he decides to make his next move. You all know I'm very, very patient, so I will happily sit here and wait for him until he plots what he's going to do next. Now, I got quite excited. I thought he was going to come in here and maybe have a little sniff at the warthog burrow that's situated in this termite mound, but he didn't even have a look at it, so maybe he knew straight away that there wasn't anything inside. It's spectacular to see a leopard taking on a big boar. And this is a good spot to sit if you're a leopard, because you can scan your surroundings. He's got an entire view of that drainage system he's just come out of. We're obviously sitting on the other side, but it's just very difficult. There's lots of worry trees surrounding him and other small little shrubs. So we'll just have to look at the back of his spots for the moment. But it's good to see him again nonetheless. There we go. Hello, big boy. He's such a beautiful cat. He obviously of male leopards. I know that Love 3 Dogs was one. Sandile. And you're also wondering if he's still got some time now, but I'm sure he's still in the area between Elephant Plains, maybe even further east of that, possibly further southeast. It's hard for him because he's a young male leopard. He can't quite establish himself just yet because there's all these big male leopards from Shivambalana to Quarantine to Tingana, the Anderson male, Mvula. There's all these big boys that have already established themselves here. So he sort of lives in between the various leopards' territories. And I've even seen him go right down as far as the Paul Kruger Gate in the Kruger National Park. So almost at Shaw's Gate, which is the most southern entrance to the Sabi Sands. I saw him down there, which is very far away. Sort of as the crow flies, if you were to drive there at the speed we drive, it would probably take you about 3.5 hours to get all the way down that way. So it's a distance, and but he did come back though. So perhaps he's just hiding away somewhere, but it'll be quite exciting when we do get to see him again. We're obviously always on the lookout for young male leopard footprints, and it'll be exciting to see him because I think he's probably grown quite a bit. And it is nice that the Sabi Sands kept their word. As soon as they could, and they found him again, they were going to take that collar off, which they did. So that's good. And obviously that collar was very important. It was quite a controversial thing. A lot of people are against having a collar on a leopard. But I think it was a special circumstance to sort of see if he was going to be okay about his well-being. And it was very important to try and eradicate something like rabies, because rabies, you can imagine, as we're driving around here in vehicles, animals become almost tame if they were skittish beforehand. And sometimes these animals walk right up and past the vehicle. Now, you wouldn't want something like a rabid leopard or a lion, even a waterbuck or a warthog roaming around in areas where a human could easily become infected. And of course, they're just going to spread rabies right through and onto various different species, which could be, of course, devastating. So it's always important just to check, and obviously he didn't pick it up, which was lucky. And I think that they learnt so much from that short time that he had that collar on, which is very exciting. We want to try and find out and learn as much as we can about the species, especially like a leopard. Seems as though he's having a little bit of a nap at the moment. Maybe we'll try and sneak around and have a look. And let's try and find a little gap so we can get his head. I think we should be able to get one. We'll just go up a bit further. Here we go. This is a nice gap. How's that? That's beautiful. And isn't this wonderful how we're able to change angles? He actually looks like he's settling down now for a bit more of a permanent nap than what we saw him doing earlier. His head is now obviously not perked up and looking around, but still panting quite heavily. Not heavily. There was too many L's in that word. And when you're so big, it's nice to have naps. Now, we see him every now and then popping through the area. I haven't seen Tingana too many times. And no, Lisa, you were wondering if he is the father of Karula. I think Karula seems to spend quite a bit of time on this side, but there's also a possibility that there's not. She could have mated with a variety of different males, but from what I've seen and from what everyone else has said, they have indeed said that, of course, Tingana is the father. We can, like I said, though, there's nothing saying for certain, though, that it is. You'd have to do a DNA test if you wanted to know exactly, because I'm sure it's not just the one male that she's been mating with. If she bumped into the Anderson male and she was an estrus, well, I'm sure that she probably would have flirted with him too, and any of the other males. But particularly the bigger boys, so not somebody like Sandile or Quarantine. They're a little bit too young still. But the older boys, maybe even Mvula, we don't really know. And that's always quite difficult. It was like, I always tell the story about the four-ways male lions mating with the southern pride. And two of the cubs, the oldest cubs that they have now, don't belong to the Charlestons at all. And we could easily confirm that, though, because before the Charlestons arrived, the one lioness was pregnant. We could see that her mammary glands were swollen. So we indeed knew that way that it was definitely the four-ways males. But it's a little bit different compared to lions and leopards, is because typically, like for instance down in the south, each pride has a coalition of males, one male or 4 or 5. But of course, with the leopards, it's always difficult because down there, I'm just trying to think, we had so many different male leopards, and on various occasions, I saw the same leopard mating with 2 different males. Laika Tingana was a Mashabeni. He was our dominant leopard, but we also used to see Shavona Kele, who used to roam those areas and used to be the dominant leopard. And then, of course, in Mbavala, who's the contender for being one of the largest leopards in the